Welcome to another episode, Focus on Finance. My name is Shirley Liu. I'm your host. You can reach me at 703-608-1203 or ShirleyLiuAssociates.com. Well, audience, today you may have seen a familiar face. She was with me in one of the previous episodes. Here I have Lisa Lickert, CEO of EMI. Lisa, welcome on the call.
Thanks for having me.
Well, wonderful. Well, as you know, Lisa previously came to me as a client, and I know that she knows the word of business and she's involved a lot out there. So what's the best thing you do when someone knows so much out there and have so much contact? You recruit them. So she's now my partner in the business. And what she does is, as she's going out there talking to business and other folks. So Lisa, what are some of the things that you're dealing out there, talking about the IUL and things like that?
Sure.
Share with the audience.
Sure. Well, you introduced the IUL to me. And so what I'm able to do is just really share my personal story and the successes that I've been able to have with an IUL. And as I'm talking through the IUL, I do get a lot of questions, so we definitely need to tackle those. But just for those that may not have seen Shirley's prior segment on what is an IUL, just to recap, an IUL, there's three main differentiators of an IUL. The first one is the growth without losses. Now, many people assume that the growth rate is much lower than the market, and that just simply isn't the case in an IUL. So you can grow with the market, but it does protect that growth against losses, so it locks it down at zero. So that is definitely one of the perks. The other perk is the life insurance component that has tax advantages. And the third is the living benefits, which is the chronic illness, the terminal illness, the accident. It's not necessarily if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And many people are not prepared financially to focus on their health. An IUL helps you do that. So those are the main three that many people are very surprised by. I was, for sure. And so that's something that we always talk through on an IUL. But then questions come up all the time. So one of the questions is, talk to me about the taxes. What do you mean tax advantage? So Shirley, share a little bit about that.
Well, I love the fact is, imagine you have an account that is growing tax deferred, making money based on the performance of the market, zero loss, compounded interest, and if you properly structure this account, it becomes tax advantages, tax-free. And I think that's so important, because I believe, IUL should start at any age. I have 4 granddaughters. From the day that they're born, day one, they have an IUL. And people always say, well, why would you put life insurance in a baby? Because that baby's going to grow old. That baby's going to need money. That baby's going to need, retirement. That baby's going to need to tap in for college funding. That baby's going to need so many wonderful things. And, it's never too early to start an IUL, and it's never too old to have an IUL.
But you said a wonderful thing that we all love to hear more about. You said tax-free. Will you just share a few things about what you mean by tax-free?
Okay, you guys say, well, what do you mean by tax-free? Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
Inside an IUL, how you structure tax advantages, tax-free, is because you got to front load enough money in here. When you take the money out inside an IUL, you take it out as a loan. Let me repeat that. When you take it out as a loan, there are no taxes on that. Just like today, if you go inside your 401k, when you take a loan inside a 401k, is there taxes on that?
No, there aren't.
That is correct. Now, inside a 401k, you do have to pay the loan back, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Absolutely. Well, guess what? Inside an IUL, you have two options. You can pay off the loan while you're alive, or you can pay off the loan when you're dead. Now, how does that happen? Imagine this, Lisa. Let's say you have $1 million life insurance death benefit IUL, and over the years, this account builds up a couple $100,000.
Okay.
Inside a cash value, cash accumulation,
Understood.
cash surrender. And let's say when you retired, you took out $100,000 to live off, right?
Yes.
Whatever. You took it as a loan feature out. At the time when you kick the bucket, I call it, the $1 million, you still technically owes $100,000.
$100,000.
So the one side of the insurance department say, she has $1 million death benefit. But on the other side, where they loan you the money, say, she owes me $100,000. So what they do is before they pay out to the family, they pay off the loan $100,000, and then they give your family the difference of $900,000. So the loans gets paid off the time of your death.
How is that $900,000 taxed?
It is tax-free, tax advantages, because life insurance is considered a tax-free strategy. By the way, IRS section code 7702.
Very nice. Thank you so much. And so another question that we receive a lot of, I know you do as well, is may I roll my 401k over to an IUL? Okay. So talk with us about that.
Okay, so the IUL is considered what's called non-qualified. That means it's after tax money. That's why you get the tax advantages. The 401k is qualified money where Uncle Sam has given you a tax advantages, a little tax deduction write-off, pre-tax on your paycheck. So the answer is no. You cannot just roll over from a 401k into an IUL because there's definitely two different tax distinction on that plan.
Understood.
Yeah.
But there are some solutions we can roadmap for a client where we can handle a rollover in a very advantageous way into another account, and then we can do some planning, some tax planning, year 1, year 2, year 3 to help them. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up. Lisa, are you ready? I hate to tell you this.
So good.
We're going to be on another episode because guess what? That other episode is going to talk about the retirement plan of the 401k and the IRA.
Okay.
Where do you roll it over?
So we'll dangle the carrot today, but a future episode.
But how about this? Can you imagine having those accounts growing with the market and no loss? Hey guys, that's for another episode. But today I want to focus
so
on
stay tuned for that future episode, right?
Yes.
All right. So another question we get, and you mentioned your granddaughters and opening an IUL, and you mentioned the advantage of their retirement of having that open. So here's another question. Talk about an IUL in comparison to a college savings account like a 529.
Okay, so, as parents, we want our kids to go to college. We want our kids to have money for college. So we don't sit there and scrambling. Now, if they get financial aid, great. And at the same time, oh my gosh, I saw some of the students with their loan. It's incredible. I'm talking about as much as almost like a house in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
How do we avoid that? Because I think there's a way to be able to avoid that and help folks out there to have this. So 529 plan rules are this. Now, I'm going to use my kids as an example, okay? You hope they go to college. But guess what? They came to me one day and said, Mom, I quit. I don't want to go finish high school. What do? You want to kill them? You want to choke them? Right? But guys, kids have their own minds, their own thinking. You can't always count on that.
And in today's market, too, many are reconsidering other options than college. And if you have a 529, that's dedicated, right? Right.
So what happens is if your kids, you put money in there and the only child, if they don't want to go, it's easy. The IRS say, well, we're just going to hit you with 10% penalty.
Yes. But or IUL,
you don't have to. You can take money out without it.
And you have that flexibility.
Absolutely.
So if they use it for college, wonderful. If they don't use it for college, that's fine too. You don't have those penalties and implications of a 529.
That's right. But the 529, they said, but you can use that money. Yeah, you can transfer that money to your nephew and nieces. Or you can go back to school.
Understood. What I liked about the IUL as well in comparison to the 529 is the growth without losses. We have a personal situation with our son, and we opened a 529 as when he was born, and we saved all of his life. And now that I'm in this business, I did an analysis on what if we opened an IUL versus a 529, and what would his financial experience be like in college. It's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Now I know what an IUL does and how it performs and the benefits and differentiators of it. And if I could hit rewind me personally, I certainly would have opened an IUL. Too bad I did not meet Shirley during that time of my life. So Any other unique advantages of IUL in comparison to 529 that you can think of?
I apologize.
Shirley, the show must go on. So even when Shirley is not feeling well, she definitely pulls it out, and she wants to serve the audience in any way that she possibly can. So thank you for staying tuned in and for understanding. Again, she gives so much of herself. So Shirley, I'll handle your outro. Again, you can reach Shirley at shirleylouassociates.com. On her website, she has a contact me page where you can schedule time. You can also click to dial. So Shirley Lou Associates, and this is Focus on Finance.
Until next time, I will be able to talk a little bit more.